Greetings! This is one of the videos I spoke about before that was still in post-production when I had to leave for Spring Run 2024. As such, some of the information may be a little bit dated. Since the principles discussed remain relevant, if not the specifics, I'm releasing it anyways while I am in post for the newer videos that I am doing during this production run that I'm talking to you from right now. Why does it sound like a bit from Spaceballs and movies? Anyway, enjoy. Greetings and felicitations again, my fellow perceptive purple people. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk with you about precedent, historical context requirements, and the recent decision by the Supreme Court of Hawaii standing in stark contrast to the recent Bruin decision by the U.S. Supreme Court about interpreting the Second Amendment. Now, there's a lot of nuance in this decision that you just know the media will not cover in their haste to inflame people with incomplete information. So you might want to pause the video and grab a cup of coffee or such, because this is going to take a few minutes to explain to inoculate you from the media bullshit storm about to follow. It's worth it though, because this is hilarious. I'll wait. Ready? Good. Oh, there will be appropriate links for your convenience below the video, of course. Here we go. In case you're not aware, Wednesday, the 6th of February of this year, the State Supreme Court of Hawaii ruled on a case of a man carrying a pistol while arguably trespassing on the private property of a large estate. I say arguably because he was out in an open area and claims to have not seen any signs indicating he was on private property. He was convicted anyway. When he was, unsurprisingly, arrested, he voluntarily revealed to law enforcement that he had a concealed .22 caliber pistol. He was charged with, and this is of particular importance for the case here, trespassing, of course, and 3 crimes related to the firearm, specifically firearm storage not at home or business, ammunition storage not at home or business, and no permit to acquire ownership of a firearm. Interestingly, he was not charged with any enhancements, such as commission of a crime with the possession of a firearm or some such. As you might expect, he was convicted and chose to appeal. His appeal was premised on the recent Bruin decision by the U.S. Supreme Court requiring any laws pertaining to firearms to be applied in conjunction with their archaic idea of historical context requirements. This did not turn out so well for him, as the Hawaiian Supreme Court ruled that their state constitution does not give an individual right to carry firearms in public, even though it has the same wording as the Second Amendment in it. Here's how it all breaks down. And the U.S. Supreme Court did this to itself, by the way, with their backfill decision in Bruin. Okay, let's point out something obvious, because it is pertinent to this position. Hawaii was not a state until mid-1959. Now, at that time, the Supreme Court had a very different view of the Second Amendment than the current court does. So when the Hawai'i State Constitution was created, they placed the same wording, minus a comma, as the Second Amendment into their state constitution as it was understood at that time. As such, by applying the U.S. Supreme Court's own ill-considered historical context requirement, the Hawaii Supreme Court found that their state constitution does not give an individual citizen the right to keep and bear arms in public. Let that sink in for a second. Using the same historical context requirements as the U.S. Supreme Court demands, Hawaii's history does not support the current U.S. Supreme Court's position on carrying firearms willy-nilly in public. Oh, for those who might be asking about the permitting process in Hawaii, that issue was actually not discussed or decided upon because the court determined that the defendant had no right to argue about it. Seems he never bothered to even try to get any type of permit that would have been involved with me moved from Florida. And he wasn't even the registered purchaser of the weapon in Florida either. So he didn't have any standing on the matter. So to recap, the facts before the media starts their spin wars. 1. The Hawaii Supreme Court did not adjudicate anything on the United States Constitution. Their findings were strictly regarding their own state's constitution. 2. Their findings were based on their state's history, going all the way back to prior times as a kingdom up through current times to find a history of weapons regulations for public safety. 3. When any media attempt to tell you that this means that the state of Hawaii doesn't allow for you to have a firearm in violation of the Second Amendment, I would like to point out that the defendant was originally held at the scene until the police arrived by the property owner, who was legally using his AR-15 assault rifle to hold him. Therefore, it is obviously possible for an individual citizen to keep and bear arms in Hawaii, even assault weapons, just subject to their state's community safety and protection laws. 4. The laws surrounding permits for firearms were not subject to review in this case because the defendant never tried to get any permits and was never the actual owner of the firearm to begin with. So he ain't got nothing to say on that subject as far as the court was concerned. As a side note, I was gratified to see that my observations regarding the atrocious Dobbs case debacle were reflected by the Hawai'i Supreme Court justices when they briefly excoriated the U.S. Supreme Court on their poor adjudication of that case. Thanks, guys, or justices. So, grab your popcorn and bonbons, folks, because this is going to get interesting. So what are your thoughts about this? Did you find this position reasonable, or do you have a more logical and or rational idea? Do be prepared for vigorous yet polite debate, but let's hear it. As always, I'll see you in the comment section below. Till our next chat, remember to keep your balance and stay purple, people. We'll see you again real soon, and let's get America together.